Hey y'all, we're Flyleaf.
Columbia.
We're in Columbia, South Carolina, supporting 803 Music.
How do you feel today?
I feel good. I think I might be a little sick. My throat feels like a little scratchy, whatever. But I think because I stayed up really late last night.
I was going to ask if you felt a little nauseated or anything before the show. I mean, is there anything you need to prepare yourself for?
Not really. I think as long as we're in the right head, or at least for me, as long as I'm in the right headspace, and I'm playing for the right reasons. We pray before every show, and I think that keeps us in focus about why we're doing this. So as long as we do that, I think I'm okay.
You agree, Jared?
Yeah, it's a good way, and always stretching a little helps too.
How are you feeling, by the way? You seem like you're just waking up.
Well, I'm away from my wife and kid right now, so am getting a little more sleep than usual, so taking advantage of that.
Okay. Now, on a more serious note, I had to ask you, or really had to state that besides the past 2 years, you've had the same lineup with your band, and that's pretty rare in these days. You got any feelings you want to say on that?
Yeah, I think we've been fortunate up to this point, that we all stick together because it is rare. But life happens, so you can't judge those other bands.
And it's a noticeable thing how y'all support your new singer. It's been 2 years, but still, it's pretty cool that y'all back her up, support her, and that's evidence that y'all have a tight group, that you're sticking together, and that's really, really awesome. And would you have anything else to say about that?
I think it's important. If you're going to invite someone into your world, into your family, you have to support them. I think it would be uncomfortable. I think that if we, brought her in to be the singer, and we were all just kind of not supporting her and talking trash or something.
Leave her hanging.
Yeah, exactly.
But
she's great. We love her.
The reception now the time that has passed, when the sudden transition with her, would you say there's anything different compared now to then?
From when she first joined to now?
Right.
I don't know. Because she's always been outspoken. She's always, we've always kind of gelled, from the immediate meeting. I don't know. I think we just got more and more comfortable around each other. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. It's like dating, kind of. You just get more comfortable with each other and get to know each other.
Cool. Right on. Your song "Something Better" that you wrote with Sonny. How would you? Anything you want to express on that? Writing with him from POD.
Pat wrote that song.
Pat?
Our bass player.
Okay.
And Sonny, our producer, Howard Benson, he invited Sonny to sing on it, I guess, to make it a little more, heavier, because Pat has this pop sensibility about the way he writes, and I think it was just too much. and Howard Benson was like, let's get Sonny on here to beef it up a little bit, and Sonny wrote those little parts that he did, and it added a lot. It was really cool, and we toured with them, and he got to sing it live almost every night, which was cool.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Don Gilmore, didn't he produce
the last record? Between the Stars.
He has a number of credits with other artists that he's produced albums with. How would you say that this album, the last album that he produced, how would you say that it felt?
We had done the first 3 albums with Howard Benson,
mm-hmm.
and I think Howard Benson's probably one of the greatest producers. Everything he does is so methodic. He's very methodical about getting sounds, and he knows exactly what's going to happen before you get into the studio, because he'll listen to the songs and he has a great idea. He's like, okay, we're going to get into the studio. We're going to do the drums like this. I know how I'm going to layer the vocals. I know what's going to go where, and let's just get in there and get it done. And Don Gilmore is kind of, I want to say the total opposite, but he's like, yeah, let's just let's kind of go and kind of see what happens, and it was very. It was messy, from my experience, it was a messy, or from my perspective, it was a messy experience, going in there and just doing things and letting it happen. But the thing about Don Gilmore was that he wasn't trying to get perfection or whatever. Like he was all about capturing the magic, and he kept on repeating. He's like we're not looking for perfection. We're capturing magic here. And he was, and what happened was he caught this spontaneity, this energy that I think otherwise wouldn't have been there. I think that if we would have done the record with Howard Benson, it wouldn't have been the wrong choice. But I'm really glad that we did it with
So
John
if it
Gilmore.
was with lyrics, you write them or Kristen?
We all contribute. I think me, Pat, and Kristen probably contribute the most lyrically, but everybody contributes.
And so I had to ask you about this one lyric line, and forgive me if I'm a little off, but it sums it up. In your song "Ship of Fools."
Oh, it's a Pat song. Where is he?
Oh man.
Yeah, go ahead.
Trying to build a heaven, they always use the devil's tools. Can you please elaborate that on what that means?
I don't know. I think because it's talking about the fall of man and trying to redeem that. Because he's talking about trying to make the garden grow again. After being expelled from it. I think trying to build a heaven with the devil's tools is kind of like we're trying to replicate something with using the wrong means, or like maybe even the wrong motivation or the wrong intention. That's what I think.
Anything you want to add to that?
No, that's good.
You've been quiet over there in your own.
Sorry, I talk a lot, and you gotta tell me to stop.
No, I'm not gonna.
I'm really bad about like hogging the mic time.
Do you ever get on to him for that?
He should.
The way he looks, he's probably like, yes, look at Samir's talking.
Jared will box my ears later.
You don't plan on quitting soon, do you? I mean, Flyleaf doesn't plan on resigning.
Flyleaf does not plan on resigning soon.
Oh boy, you got serious when I asked you that. You're like,
Oh no,
he knows.
I was just trying to think of how where exactly you're going with that.
Oh no, well, it's just that the fact that sometimes, and you've gotten good reception with your new singer, and so I've noticed that when bands transition into new lineup with other people, their fans react, and then they just things don't work out, and then maybe the fans like it, but then the band doesn't work out, so they end up quitting, or they just like we're going on our own path and things like that. It's want to see if y'all can confirm anything.
Yeah, no, I mean there's nothing to confirm, but also like the future is always uncertain.
Right.
And you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, we couldn't anticipate, our singer leaving or our sound engineer,
right.
Passing, or I mean, there's things that you just cannot foresee.
And you still talk to Lacey, I'm sure.
I didn't for a long time. I actually held a grudge for a very long time, but on this last tour, on the Snowcore tour, I met up with her when we went through Pittsburgh, because that's where she lives, and we had coffee and dinner, and it was good. We talked like friends.
Oh, that's good that you recovered and got back out of that.
Yeah.
I mean, and if you were home at the moment, what would you be doing?
Right now?
Yeah, at this moment.
At this moment, right now, yes. Chances are I'm either on a hike or I'm in my chair reading. That's what's happening if I was at home. That's what would be happening. Very exciting.
And you, Jared?
Changing diapers.
Changing diapers.
Yeah.
What would you say is your worst habits? Such as chewing nails, chewing your skin, not washing your hands, double dipping,
My wife
eating
would
floor off the
say
food.
This right here, twisting my beard. Drives her crazy.
I fidget constantly.
Fidget?
I fidget constantly, yeah.
You've been still as a statue.
No, see, like my foot's been moving, my finger's been moving, like.
Oh, okay.
Like I always move.
And would you say that there's anyone in the band that you're like, I can't stand how Pat does this or Kristen does this, or?
I don't know. I feel like they're like, for a while, like Pat didn't bathe, and that was annoying. But I don't know. Everyone kind of, after being together for so long, you kind of learn how to stay out of everyone else's way, and like or you kind of know like what annoys other people, so you kind of go somewhere else to do that or whatever,
All right. Mesh.
Yeah. That's what I hope that the case is. Hopefully I'm not like just annoying everyone and everyone just being super passive aggressive and not telling me about it, but then talking about it later behind my back. That's probably the case.
5 quick, quirky questions. You ready for this? If you had to eat one or the other, which would you do? Dog or cat?
I would starve. I'm vegan.
It's cat.
The cat.
Yep.
I would say bird or rat. I would ask you, Samir, but you say you're a vegan.
Yeah.
Bird.
Bird.
Yeah.
All right, here's one for you since you're a vegan. Could you eat tree leaves or grass?
Probably grass. Probably digest easier than the tree leaves.
You may answer that so easily and well. Now, if you had to throw someone under the bus and ultimately sacrifice them in a ritual,
Myself.
Yourself? I was gonna say Jared, Pat, or James.
Myself.
Yourself.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that one.
Now, if you had, which would be worse, a smelly fart or old people coffee breath?
What's worse? Old people coffee breath is worse than smelly fart. And
It
there,
lasts longer.
yeah, and there are some smelly farts on this bus.
Oh, so y'all.
And I would choose that over old people coffee breath. Like, oh,
You
it's
heard
bad.
it from here.
It's bad.
Now, on a more seriously, what faith do y'all share, or do you individually have your own?
Well, we're all Luciferian Satanists.
There you go, Satanist.
Satanists.
Disguise the wolves dress the sheep.
Just kidding. We're all Christian. We're all very Christian. Yeah, and I think something that unifies our band, is our faith, and that's something that's very important about, the perspective of the lyrics and like where we're coming from, and the hope and the message of salvation and redemption has to be real in the lyrics. Otherwise, it kind of means nothing.
Define what would you say as a Christian? Because you got your different sects of.
Oh, to be a Christian is to believe in Jesus Christ and the message of salvation through his death and resurrection. That's Christianity. I think it's hard if you really believe that. It's hard to do anything else without losing your integrity. To think a certain way that is contradictory to that, or to live a certain way that's contradictory to that. I don't know. That's just my opinion. If you really believe it.
What would you say, Jared?
I agree, and there's things people are gonna get hung up on, and that just don't matter. So, I mean, I think the core of it is believe in Jesus.
And the Word of God, Bible authenticity. What would you say about that?
It's hard to people are like, well, you have to take it literally. Some people don't take it literally, and that's going to be up for debate. I mean, people have been studying that and debating that for as long as the Bible's been around. I don't know, there are certain things like that are just clear and cut. I say clear and cut, but Jesus did speak a lot in allegories and metaphors, but to think that if in the garden there was a snake that talked, or there was a donkey that spoke to an angel, or things like that, that could have happened. I mean, I don't doubt it, but for me, I think it might be more metaphorical or allegorical than literal. But I could be wrong. And I don't claim to know exactly what how to interpret it. Do I have to interpret it literally or metaphorically?
And do you take the Bible as 100% truth, or are there certain parts in there that
there are parts of the Bible that kind of contradict themselves, as far as like the way they count numbers and things like that, but I think the what it teaches, I think, is truth, and I think truth is different than fact. It's funny.
Get deep into it.
No. It's this is in Indiana Jones, and it was really, really funny because it's always stuck with me. Indiana Jones is like, I teach archaeology, and archaeology is about fact. If you're looking for truth, go over to blah blah blah's philosophy class.
Right.
And it's true. I mean, because there's a difference between fact and truth. Because truth is almost like it's bigger than facts. Facts are just evidence, but truth is truth, and it's so deep.
Anything to say?
the biggest thing Jesus talked about was just love one another. That, I think
that sums it up.
Yeah.
And was there ever a time in your life that you just couldn't continue?
Continue with what?
Music, or just believing?
I don't know. I feel like there's been struggles, and there have been times where I've maybe felt like I wasn't able to continue, but it's never overcome the urgency and the I don't know, the drive to continue, because because the world is so much bigger than yourself, and when you realize that, the worst things aren't really the worst things to you. If you're living your life subjectively, but God, Jesus tells us not to do that. That we need to live objectively, and we need to weep with those who weep and mourn with those who mourn, and feel that empathy with somebody else, and connect with them and go to their level and think outside of ourselves and live our lives objectively. When we start thinking about ourselves and becoming selfish and like, well, the world's so bad to me, and I'm feeling this way, and why does this stuff happen to me, and you think about me, yeah, the world just becomes this awful place. But then when you step outside yourself, you realize you're part of this picture that's so much bigger than yourself.
And would there be any other advice to the local scene, or people are struggling to make it? What would your last word be to them?
People who are struggling to make it, I think they need to define, what it is to them making it really means. And they need to know, figure out like why they're doing it, because it can't be for the fame, it can't be for the money, because for the fame it's an empty dream. For the money, there is no money. Bands aren't making money anymore. So to do this, you have to mean it. You have to have a mission. You have to have purpose and intention behind what you're doing. Otherwise, it's going to be empty, and you're going to be so exhausted doing something that that you thought you loved.
You've been watching 803 Music. This is Flyleaf, and we'll see you later.